Hi guys, welcome to LM Crochet. In this video I'm going to show you how to make a snood, which is simply a scarf or a neck warmer that is made in one piece like this, and you can wear it around your neck to keep you warm in the winter. Okay, let's get started. So for this tutorial you're going to need some really lovely chunky yarn, and what I have here is the yarn of all yarns, or the wool of all wools, and this is Crazy Sexy Wool by Wool and the Gang. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, you haven't been around here much, then you won't know, but actually I am obsessed with Wool and the Gang, and I do recommend you check out their website because they've got the most beautiful wools. I've also got a crochet hook to match with this chunky yarn, and it's also from Wool and the Gang, and this is a 12mm, but you'll use whatever hook corresponds to the yarn size that you're using. So for this snood we're going to be using quite a simple technique all the way around, but because the yarn itself is so beautiful, it will be quite effective. And I think, to be honest, when you're wearing something around your neck and you're wearing it day in, day out, you don't want it to be too fussy anyway. So we're actually going to start by chaining. So we'll just start with a slip knot, of course. So the way I do it is I just wrap the yarn around my finger, make an X, lift the front to the back and pull up that piece there, put your hook inside it, pull and pull, and there you've got your slip knot on your hook like that. So then we are going to wrap the yarn around the working yarn, which is attached to the ball of yarn, around your hand like that. And I like to hold here when I'm crocheting, just for that bit of extra control. So pinch there, keep the yarn up high with this finger. And I'm just going to chain, and the amount that you chain will be, I'm going to keep the stitches quite loose as well. The amount that you chain will be the length that you want the snood to be. So what we'll do is we'll stop every now and then and wrap it around your neck and see kind of what you want. So for now I'm just kind of chaining without counting. We can go back and count our chains if we need to. But when it looks about the length that you want it to be to go around your neck, then you're obviously going to maybe add in a couple more chains at that point and then join it into a circle. This yarn is so lovely to work with. Sometimes you work with rough yarns or cotton because the effect is quite nice, but when it runs through your hand like that it can be quite coarse, but this is just pure joy. It's like crocheting with bits of cloud. Oh, I'm not being paid to say any of this, by the way, I just really love the yarn. I wish they were paying me. Anyway, what I have now is a nice length, so I'm just going to put it around my neck quite simply and going to see if it's the right length for me. And I would say that's actually spot on, so very good. And as always, when you think it's spot on, it's always best to add a couple, maybe even 3 more stitches, just because when we join it, they're going to get swallowed up, and when you add stitches onto it as well. I'm going to add 3 because I've been sorry in the past. Okay, so there we have our chains, and I'm happy to count them up for you so that you know if you're making this to somebody else, and you want sort of an average size, then I can let you know how many chains I've done. So I've actually done 40 chains here. So what we're going to do now is you want to keep it all flat. Run it along your fingers like that so you make sure it's flat. And then you're going to join it to that first stitch that you made, just like that. So you should have that, something like that at the moment. And then all you're going to do is wrap the working yarn around your hand again, push the sort of tail to the bottom, pull the yarn in one loop and pull it in through the next loop. And there you have it, all facing the same way. That's really important, otherwise it's going to get a bit twisty and not have the desired effect. And there you have it. And if you want to just pull out and put it on your head, put it around your neck and see if that's comfortable, then you can do that as well. Okay, so what we're going to do now is build this snood up to the thickness, the width that we want it to be. Again, it's all kind of preference. You could do, make sure it's the right way up. You could do this in a few different ways. Getting myself muddled up here. So you actually want the yarn through the centre. You want to have the yarn on top like that so that it's going to be easier to crochet. So you could go all the way around with double crochets or with single crochets or with half double crochets, whichever your favourite stitch is. But if you want the same effect that I have, then we're going to actually go for double crochets this time. So the first thing you need to do is chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. And the reason we do that is it just gives you the height so that you're up to the same height as a double crochet stitch would be when you do it into your first chain, okay? And we're going to keep these in every single chain all the way around, just for a nice sort of snug fit, but also the gaps between the double crochet will give you a bit of air, so it'll be a little bit floppy as well, so it's kind of the best of both worlds. So to double crochet, you put your yarn over your hook like that, and then you go into the first chain, pulling through some yarn, and then yarn over and pull through once and pull through twice. Okay, I'll do that slowly for you into the next chain. And into the next one. Lovely, lovely. It's like crocheting with clouds. Just going to do it all the way around. You'll get faster as you get used to it. It's actually one of those projects which, because it's the same stitch repeated and it's quite an easy pattern, it's one of those where you can, where you can actually just mute the video and put some music on, or you can even do this once you're confident with it. Once you start making a few, you could even do it in front of the TV, watching something, put an audiobook on. It's one of those that doesn't require your full attention, so that's quite nice. Sometimes, obviously, I like to be challenged by crochet, and sometimes I just like to do something repetitive and relaxing, and this is the perfect project for one of those times. It helps as well that the yarn is so beautiful and such a nice colour. I know it doesn't seem like it, but it does have an effect. So I'm just going to do one round on camera just so you can get used to the stitch if you're watching my hands. And I also want to show you how to join the other end, and so you can see the effect that we're going for as well. What's lovely about these snoods is you can be wearing something like a top without a collar or something, and you just want to dress it up with, you know, to keep yourself warm. And these things are brilliant if you make them in lots of different colours. They can be a real piece, a real focal point of your outfit. Or you can have just one really nice one if you spend a bit of money on the yarn, like I have with this one, and you can just have it for the whole winter. Get a really nice coat or something to go with it. And there's just so much joy in knowing that you're wearing something that you've made as well. It's coming along nicely. It's got a bit of stretch in it as well, which is really nice, because if you're putting something over your head, especially if you've just put all your makeup on, it's quite annoying if you put something over your head and it just rubs it all off. So you want a bit of stretch in it. More yarn, please. Nearly there. Nearly. In fact, I'm just going to lay it flat a minute just to see. So here we are, just going to get that tail out of the way. Here we are. I think there's one more chain left, so just going to work into that one. And then we're going to join this tail. Pull that tail right nice and down, nice to the bottom, out the way. And then we just need to join to the chain that we made in the beginning, the chain 3, to the third one in the chain. Just join with a slip stitch like that. There, that's what it's going to look like. That's the effect it's going to have, those kind of long stitches like that with the gaps in, so it's quite breathable. And then what you can do is you can just try it on and see if it's the right. And then you just carry on all the way around. So just to remind you how to start, you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to go and do a double crochet and go into the next stitch like that. And you're just going to do that all the way around again, and I'll come back and show you what mine looks like once I've done that. I wanted to show you how to finish it off. Oh, camera wobble. So I've just been doing the same thing as I showed you before, going around and around with that double crochet, or treble crochet as it's called in UK terminology. And it's feeling really lovely, it's looking really, it's just a simple stitch like I said, but it looks really good, it looks really effective, I think. Just shows you once you've mastered the basics of crochet, you can do some great things. This is going to be so cozy, and I've actually got a grey coat, and I think grey and pink just go really nicely together. Oh, hit my camera. So I think this is going to look really lovely. This hook is lovely, it just slides through as well, like, you know, it just beautifully. And I have to say, actually, I think this is going to be the perfect amount of wool for this project. So that's pretty handy. I don't like wastage, so it would be annoying if I only had a little bit to cut off at the end and then I had nothing to use it for. So it's really nice to know that a whole ball of yarn or wool can get you a nice project. Very satisfying. Nearly there. think chunky yarn is actually really beginner friendly as well, because you can see the stitches so clearly and you can see where you need to go in because everything's sort of magnified with this chunky yarn. So it's actually a really good place to start. And then the thinner the yarn, I actually find the harder it is. So then when you're ready to move on to really, really thin yarn that uses like a 2mm hook, you'll feel a bit more prepared. This is literally going to be the perfect amount of yarn for this project, and I find that very satisfying and exciting. Oh my gosh. Okay, so last stitch here, yarn over, beautiful. And then we're just going to finish off the way we've been joining for each round, and that is just to simply, and look, you'll see how much yarn I've got left now. Oh, single crochet, not single crochet, sorry, slip stitch through. Spot on. So all that's left now is to sew in those loose ends that we've got, the tail that we started with and the one that we've ended up with. And there are a few ways you can do this. If you've got a kind of giant, I'll show you the one I've got, a giant yarn needle. Obviously I use this for normal crochet, so it's going to be a bit of a squeeze. But if you've got a bigger one, with the bigger eye through the needle, then that's going to be much easier. Otherwise, stick around as I try and fit this giant yarn into this teeny, oh, not so bad, not so bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go on the inside where you can't see it so much, and I'm just going to weave it through, and you'll get a bit of resistance sometimes. It's actually easier to go through stitches and just bury it rather than actually going through the yarn, because it's otherwise it's just too tough. I mean, the more secure you make it, obviously the better. And then you can just snip that off, or I'm just going to tuck it in there for now. And then with the longer piece, same again, just thread it onto the needle. See, that's what I was expecting to happen. If you just make it come to a point, thread it through, and again weave it on the inside, out of the way. Might go through there first of all, just so it's on the inside, and then through a few. And then all you need to do really is just bury it until you're satisfied, and then snip it off, and then you should have, so that's the seam, then you should have a really beautiful snood, and you can try it on again and see if it fits, if you like it, and then you can go out and wear it and be warm and snuggly and bright if you've chosen the same colour as me. Anyway, so that's our snood done for today. I really hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I would love to see photos of your finished product. If you would like to send them to me on Instagram at lmlmcrochet, or please comment below if you have any questions, and subscribe so you can see more of my videos. Once again, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all again soon.